It is 5 o'clock on September 10th, 2024. Call this regular town board meeting for the town of LaPointe to order. We'll call Mike Anderson,
Here.
Amy Baxter, Susan Brenna,
Here.
Samantha Dobson,
Here.
and Glenn Carlson here. So have our Public Works Director and our town clerk with us, as well as members of the public. The first item is public comment A. Is there any public comment? Yes, Charlie.
One, under item 4, committees A1A, consider partial refund fee for the start for zoning map change. You know, they required $1,500 for a zoning text change. I didn't talk to Ed about this, but I think what would be fair, they should have applied for a petition for amendment of the zoning map change, which was $500. So I think they were overcharged by $1,000. I don't know what Ed is recommending. I haven't talked to him, but I noticed this over the weekend when I was reviewing some of my paperwork. So I think it should be $500 personally, but whatever Ed is recommending, I have no idea. But there should be some reduction in their fee. And I also want to thank Ben Trom for his years of service to the town. As sexton out at Greenwood Cemetery, whenever we needed some work performed, digging, prepping for a grave, some extra dirt, some extra material. Ben was always Johnny on the spot. So I just want to thank him for his years of service and appreciate that.
Thank you. And you did submit a written letter to the
Yes.
town board. Did you want us to read this or?
You can, you don't have to. It's in regards to the off-premise directory sign corrections.
Correction signs, okay.
That's
It's probably a 3-minute or so letter, so we'll maybe do that at the end.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, Steve.
Responding to the same street sign that I'm supporting, and I hope the board will pass a resolution for the street signs for home businesses. It's a special for people to buy their places.
Thank you. Any other public comment, Michael?
We got Michael Child, I spoke coming on for a very in opposition to the idea of selling advertising space on towns.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Michael Collins?
Particularly, Michael's response, coming at it from two perspectives. One is the steering committee, where we would expect to buy the community to not just preserve, but to cherish the rural character of the community. If you look at the fact sheet, passed out, number one, it says regarding the permanent directional signs, no more than 2 such signs shall be allowed for business. But that doesn't mean it's not for street sign. So it's conceivable that there would be too many signs on the street. Second perspective I come at this with is from the recent being Chamber of Commerce chair. The commercialization of the island landscape is not good for business. It's not what brings people here.
Thank you. Paul, did you have your hand up?
So, please go ahead.
John?
First off, I'd like to thank the board for finishing the letter to Tom Tiffany's office. We should have been a little bit sooner, but okay. Second, you guys are going to be discussing an RFP for a feasibility study for a community center. I'd like to remind you, we have a rec center. It took borrowing money from the chamber to finish the bathrooms. We got a grant to finish the bathroom. We can't afford to take care of what we have. To do a feasibility study, I know it's free to get that stuff, but then you have to pay for them to do the study. Sometimes it's okay to say no to these people that can't do it. Now, some of you maybe are acting as politicians where you're not saying no. It's okay to say no. And in fact, it's probably better to say no than lead people on to think that they could actually get something like this done at this time where we're going to be needing to come up with money for other things, like gravel for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
It is a motion, with part of no, don't you understand, enter the O. But on kind of the same note with the community center feasibility, a few weeks ago at Harbor Commission meeting, Evan R. Erickson, Squirt, or Evan Junior, if you will, had a little bit of a spiel about how tight money's going to be. You can't be spending money nilly-willy. The paradigm needs this, the town needs this, and no one corrected him. Even the town chair was also on the Harbor Commission. So real hard, before you spend money on a feasibility study, is this find out whether you need this or not, but even if you do need it, is it a want or a need, and where's the money gonna come from? You might get a 90-10 grant, can you even come up with 10%? Is there a money tree outside, and if so, where can I plant?
Thank you, Paul. Any other public comment? Okay. Moving on, we have our administrative reports, and we don't have a town administrator, so we don't have a town administrator's report. The next item is the Public Works Director's report. Any questions or comments for Ben on his report?
What was the problem with sweeping the street? Why were there people upset with sweeping the street?
I knew the answer.
Oh,
Probably leaf blowers.
It's just noise.
oh, okay.
Get crabby pretty fast.
Oh,
Okay, any other?
It's a safety.
Are you gonna stick around for the meeting? You know, there's other stuff down the agenda that is gonna pertain to you, so.
Hanging out after.
Good enough.
All right.
Otherwise, we'll do it now.
Okay, any other?
Oh, I'm here for the duration.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ben in his report? We did not get a MRF supervisor's report, airport manager's report.
is there still no more problem now that the bear has been removed, you know? It's-
I don't think. The problem is very long, right?
We got them. Next, planning and zoning administrators report.
I have a question on that.
Okay.
Just hang on for a second.
Mhm.
Um. Oh, well, nobody's here from the zoning department, but like, what does this mean? In these graphs, it has special exception, and then it has this date, August 31st. And it has special exception 0, and then it has the same date on the next graph. It says special exception 750.
That was the prior years. There was so this is the current year. And this is the prior year. So there was some sort of special exception last year for $750, and I'm not sure what that was.
Okay, the prior year is, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You have a special exception form filled out for Bob Means coming up. Is that reflected in that?
No.
It's just, I mean, it's kind of
This
just
year.
backwards, the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the planning and zoning administrators report? The accounting report. Police chief's report. We did not get a fire chief's report or an ambulance director's report. Is there unanimous consent to place these reports on file?
Yes.
Moving on, road, stock and harbor, we have a contract with Midland for LP gas at the same price as they charged last year. So we need a motion and a second to approve the contract for them for coming year.
I oppose it, so I'm not gonna make a motion.
Okay,
Right, explore. I mean, can we Make a motion to discuss it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Midland Services.
Okay.
Moved and seconded discussion.
Discussion is, I don't think it's legal. And if you, it asked in the, Amy brought this up last year. And it asked for services. That propane is not a service. Propane is a, you know, it's not a service. A service is something like an attorney or an engineer, or that's a service. Propane should be bid every year. It shouldn't be just that they get it for the following year because they had it last year. That shouldn't work like that. I thought this was taken care of until now. I see it's not taken care of, but I thought it was gonna be taken care of.
Okay, good point, Mike. We'll look into that.
But we're running out of time because,
Yeah, it's October. We've got another meeting.
well, Al, it's a class 2 notice and she's only got 2 weeks to post it.
Is that a class 2?
Yeah, it's a class 2. It has to be a class 2 notice.
Okay.
So we're running out of time. But my point is, it should go out on bids.
Okay.
You know, it shouldn't, it's not a service.
Okay. Well, I'll withdraw my motion. Amy, will you withdraw your
That's
second?
just my.
That was my second.
Your
I would
second.
draw my second.
Okay. Well, I'll move to defer this until our next meeting, and we'll definitely check out what you brought up, Mike. There's a second to defer. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have recommendation that we put the 2 sort of overflow tent sites that are at Big Bay Town Park onto the reservation system, so that people can reserve them.
And so why are we doing that?
Because we have other sites that are used as.
You're gonna, other sites will be the overflow sites?
That are less desirable because they're right.
Okay.
The
Okay.
overflow still exists. They're still at
Close,
that
yes.
literally.
Not that kind of-
Okay.
All right.
The intention is to offset the pump out costs, so these 2 sites will book, they're guaranteed to book for approximately 90 days or so, then both of them together will be about $6,000 per season.
Oh,
But they haven't been filling as overflow.
They have, just not by credit card online.
Mhm.
The camp hosts them.
You just want to make it part of the
Just
reservation
want to
system.
make it more official, so we can book in advance, and then we can try to combat the pump out
Got it.
cost.
I'll make a motion that we add 2 tent sites to use as overflow at Big Bay Town Park
A second.
reservation system.
A second.
they moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Ben would like to discuss terminating the Memorial Bench Program as he believes we're at our manageable capacity.
What is that number that they're currently at?
There are 4 in Russell Park, there's 5 throughout here in downtown, 4 out at the park, Capture Trail. There's other older memorial benches, and then we accepted 2 additional ones in the past 2 months. One person insisted that one go was placed down at Joni's Beach, which I didn't have a problem with, but the program was nice, but no disrespect to anybody. I understand why people want to do that, but I think we're out of space. I think it's looking cluttered. It's also a matter of just kind of letting anybody do what they want.
Is there anybody on the waiting list? Like so there's nobody. So now if we squash it now, it's done.
It's all first come, first serve. It was nice. It was a success. Barb had a spreadsheet set up, so every bench that somebody paid for, there's whatever funds were left over were left for the maintenance of that individual bench. So it
Yeah, we could always start it up again.
created a lot of paperwork. Recently, somebody backed into one of the benches at the Pocket Park. Now it needs to be repaired.
Okay,
I think it's nice, but I think it's run its course
Yeah.
and it's a lot of maintenance that don't need to continue or put on the taxpayers eventually when the money runs out for maintenance.
got it.
I think it gives opportunity to think creatively in the future of other things that are maybe less structural. Uses,
Mhm.
yeah, so.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we terminate the Memorial Park Bench program.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion?
People will continue to ask. I think the best response is maybe in the future, but you know, the ones that are there now. Should be
Are you gonna honor the two that are, you said are in process? Okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item, under Materials Recovery Facility, purchase order for the solid waste compactor repairs. You have the purchase order in front of you, and that is for $2,294.95.
Make a motion, we approve the purchase order in the amount of $2,294.95 for the additional compactor repair.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, but Amy asked at the last meeting about getting some type of what did he think the conditions of those? Do you know what the condition?
inspection report.
Did you see that?
No,
No, we didn't. We don't have it.
Oh, is that the recent one then? The recent invoice?
this is the work order.
This is the invoice from Fleet Genius.
But
So that has the second round. Marty was there the whole time for both repairs. And I was told that the one is in good enough condition, one is not in good condition, and then the one that had to be repaired again needed additional work, which should last longer, but it is recommended that the one that's worse for wear should be replaced sooner than later. And we do have a full quote from the same company that does it, which includes complete installation, electrical, everything.
And do you know that in the invoice that their travel time is $85 an hour? And that's the most of the bill is travel time. Now, you know,
I understand. That's very frustrating. It's specialty technician. I can't find anybody better or closer to work on Harmony compactors.
Is there a company that could sell us a new compactor that would have closer?
well, then we'd have to do different.
Could you put Evan up to that task? Or the MERV supervisor?
Yep,
Well, but you know, because we have two, I'd rather keep two of the same type, like when they,
Oh, absolutely. They should be interchangeable.
the same brand.
Parts.
right.
Okay, any other questions on the solid waste compactor repair? Is there a motion? We have a motion.
Yes.
Okay, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have a request from the MERF supervisor for a leave of absence, unpaid leave of absence, basically for the month of October ending November 4th. That's under section 710.3 of our personnel policy.
And Evan thinks that he can handle it. As well as what you need him for,
Without overtime. I mean,
That is the plan.
great.
you're leaving though, so what do you? That'd be my only concern would be that I wouldn't want to put in a bunch of overtime because of it, you
No,
know,
no.
certainly.
I think it's probably a really good time of year for
Right,
this to take place.
I agree.
So,
I'll make a motion, we approve Marty Curry's request for leave of absence from October 1st, 2024 and ending November 4th, 2024.
second,
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is airport. We have a couple of revised airport hangar leases to approve, one for lot 9A and the other for lot 13B. The lot 9A is Silver Tree Ranch. and it's signed by Peter Burwell. And lot 13B is signed by Paul Wilhelm. There a motion to approve these
I'll make a-
revised leases?
Make a motion to approve the revised airport hangar leases for lot 9A and lot 13B.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, on Greenwood Cemetery, this is really about the chapel cleaning contract. Apparently Barony wasn't able to find anyone this year to do the cleaning of the chapel. My understanding is that Ray from the roads, from the Public Works Department, has been doing what he can when he can. But it has been recommended that we actually formally terminate the contract with Barony. And so that is on our agenda.
Who, I'm not against it, but who asked for that to happen?
Specifically, that we terminate the contract.
You said that who's they?
Well, Dorjeen, for one, has been dealing with the Michael family about this. If you've seen
The emails.
the email, they're not happy with the quality of the cleaning that's been happening. And frankly, if there hasn't been cleaning, that's very understandable.
We didn't pay them, right?
No.
We have not paid them.
I'll make a motion that we terminate the contract with Barony.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I'd like to hear Ben's, what do you say?
Well, I was part of, they
He was also part of
haven't
the
been able to.
Mhm.
So Mark, so they can't clean, they obviously don't send anybody over or hire anybody to
That
clean.
was the agreement at the beginning of the season.
So we cancel the contract and now are we supposed to do it?
Well, that's the next item on the agenda.
Okay.
So, any other discussion on terminating the contract? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion about cleaning the chapel for next year and what we're going to do about that.
To continue the discussion. What do you think? I mean, does the town have employees that can do it?
Yeah, it's pretty clear that you guys are at capacity, and that's not on the list.
I think somebody behind me mentioned the struggle is to keep some bathrooms open sometimes. And
Mhm.
if you've read the emails, you can see what standards are expected.
Yeah.
So you don't have a game. I mean, there's,
Well, I don't even know if it should be the Public Works Department's responsibility to continue to seek out a contractor. Even though farm it out was what I was told, but that alone has been a struggle.
Okay. Well,
For what it's worth, Barony did provide somebody who was great for the summer before last, I believe. And then Kira Wiggins did 3 seasons and Mr. Michael seemed to be happy with. But you've read the emails, you can see the context. Going forward, perhaps out of the maintenance fund, something like a scissor lift could be purchased, stored in the section shed, and then somebody could safely reach the interior, the top of it to dust the very fragile and expensive dove that's up there, because on the step ladder it's kind of.
They have to dust that way up there? It's gonna be crazy.
Part of the email.
Requested. There's a telescopic duster, but.
so when it was being cleaned by Kira,
Yes,
how it was once a week, twice a week,
2 hours a week, yes.
few hours a week?
1 hour, 1 day, 2 hours, a second day, 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
And maybe go in after it rains every time, please.
Oh, gosh.
And with the benches.
So it was quite a bit of work.
I think it's important to see in the 2019 email that he does point out, realizing it is strictly the town's decision on how to perform the maintenance and use the funds. So, you mean, you can't do more work than what you're capable of, so I think it's important to get on the same page, because this is a bit unrealistic for what is capable. So,
Well, how about we put this on a future agenda?
You think it's gonna go away?
No, I don't think it's gonna go away. That's why I don't know that we can come up with it.
Explore all the options through the winter and perhaps it becomes a different job that like the generosity of Mike's family is
Yeah.
appreciated. This isn't taxpayer money, but
Right.
it's a lot of time spent by myself or Ray just trying to find somebody or interview people, find someone to commute. I don't think that should be a public works department responsibility.
I think we should put
Trying
an
to
article in the
keep up
Gazette
with
too and try and get one of our local
Yeah.
housekeeper
Mhm.
being
To clean it?
to take it on.
yeah, there are funds, it's, adequate pay for work done. I mean, it's all in the email. So I agree with that.
Okay, is there a motion to put this on a future agenda?
I'll make a motion that we postpone this for a future town board meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any other discussion?
I would just say, let's not put it off, until next year. Let's try to solve this year.
But it does need to be cleaned before the end of the year, and there's close up that needs to happen on it to keep it. So,
But let's try to, I like the idea of putting an ad out, and just say, whatever, it's 3 hours a week or whatever,
Mhm.
good pay. And if somebody, who knows, somebody might come along and say, hey, I'll do it.
could be good fall work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay, any other discussion?
Just for the record, we've tried that multiple times,
Mhm.
but keep trying.
Right, yeah.
We don't have choice.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, planning and zoning. First is, let's see, it's an action item. And that's to approve the zoning map change that the TPC recommended for the parcel owned by Kathleen and Patrick Starr. So first is the actual change, text change to that.
I'll make a motion to approve the zoning map text change for the Star property.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just want to remind, because I missed that meeting and so I watched it, but I just want to remind people that they can't vote if they didn't watch,
Yeah.
if they weren't
The
present.
public hearing. So.
but you can if you watched, or
You
you,
can if you watched it.
Or can Amy,
Filled out the document.
so if I listen to it after the fact, I can't.
you can,
You can,
you sign an affidavit.
Okay,
Wait.
got it, okay.
okay, thank you. And I need to sign one too.
Because I did receive it, so.
I was at the meeting, but had some
Yeah,
difficulty connecting.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next is to consider a partial refund of the fee. And Ed did recommend that their fee be refunded less the town's cost of publishing, which I don't know what that is. So I would suggest we go with the suggestion made during public comment and consider the fee to be $500 and refund them the $1,000 balance.
I'll make a motion that we refund $1,000 of the Star's fee.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is recommendation from the TPC on the direct sellers ordinance language. I did participate in that part of the meeting and sort of explained to the TPC what the town's thinking was on having the TPC be the sort of first people to take a look at whether specific pieces of town property ought to be considered for rental and under what conditions. And after that, they agreed that that would make sense. And so they're recommending that we adopt the language that stipulates all of that.
And I would only point out, I listened to it too, and it's 345.3, not 343.3.
Well, thank you.
Type.
Yep, thank you. Mitch. Yeah, they did make a recommendation to remove there was language in there that said regardless of the zoning district designation. And, you know, basically, we specifically told them when they are considering this to consider the appropriateness given the zoning. So it was kind of contradictory that was in there. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there a motion?
You want a motion to accept the,
Direct sellers ordinance language.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation for the direct seller ordinance language change.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? And this is like probably the fourth time we've looked at this.
The last.
That may not be the last. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, recommendation from the TPC for sign ordinance language. And I have that this is intended to be a first reading. And so if anybody has any comments, we did hear from the public today, some of the public, if there are other members of the public that have comments on this, please send us an email or come to our next meeting. I would anticipate that at the next meeting, we will take action September 27th. So please get your comments in before then or at that meeting. Is there a motion to accept this as a first reading?
I'll make a motion. We accept this as a first reading for the or the whole thing or just
The directional signs.
the directional signs, the Sign Street resolution?
Moved and seconded by Sam. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Winter Transportation Committee. My term on that committee is coming to a conclusion, and it has been suggested that I continue to serve on it till 2027, and I have absolutely no objection to doing that, but also certainly willing to step aside if anybody else would like that opportunity.
I'll make a motion to appoint Glenn to 3-year term ending September 9th, 2027.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
thank you, Glenn.
Hasn't been meeting much.
Yeah, no kidding.
Global warming.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item. Town Hall Administration. We have a resolution before us, Resolution 2024-0910, recording our opposition to the proposal to redesignate the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore as a national park.
I'll make a motion. We approve resolution 24-0910.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any requests to actually read the resolution out loud?
We postponed it last time.
Yep.
Because you wanted to add, or somebody wanted, did we add anything? I couldn't see that we
we
had.
wanted to double check the 39 acres,
Yeah,
just the numbers that were in there.
And this is a little bit more specific to Madeline Island than the draft and also what the Bayfield County had adopted. So is there a motion? And a second?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we are getting into budget season. And Lauren has prepared a timeline for us to approve. There are two questions she had, which are the round two budget workshop, either doing it on Friday, November 1st, or deferring it till Monday, November 4th. And then her second suggestion was potentially moving the finalizing of the budget to the town board meeting on November the 12th. Any thoughts on that?
I don't mind either one on the first one, and I think yes on the Tuesday. On the
Okay.
second.
All right, do you want to make that in the form of a motion?
I said I don't mind either one. And so does anybody prefer Friday or Monday for the first one? All right, I'll go with
When
Friday.
is the Friday?
Friday the 1st at 4:45.
We have the round two budget workshop on Friday the 1st at 4:45. And the finalizing of the budget on 11/12 at our regular time.
And otherwise to adopt the timeline.
And otherwise to adopt the timeline.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
My daughter's gonna be really bummed because she's not gonna be able to do swim lessons this October.
Oh, budget workshops?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will dutifully be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a special event permit request for the Madeline Island Museum. And they have asked for closure of Colonel Woods Avenue on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We had previously closed it on actual treaty day in the past. And I have been unable to get a hold of the director of the museum to really determine whether they need that closed all 3 days or if they can do with having it closed just on treaty day. As we know that that part of the road is used oftentimes when there is a lot of people leaving the island on the ferry and they will divert up there.
Afraid of.
And yeah, so I'm thinking maybe that Sunday may not be the best day to have that blocked off. So I want to talk to I'm going to talk to Mike Wiggins about that. And so I'd like to suggest either we defer the whole thing until the next meeting, which is on the 27th, or that we approve the request for blocking off Colonel Woods on the 30th, that Monday, and potentially the other 2 days, but wanting to talk about it with him first.
I would suggest that last year when Kelly put this in and she withdrew it, and there was a reason why she withdrew it, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what the reason was. I don't work for the museum. And so if somebody could find out why they didn't need those 3 days last year, maybe they don't need it again this year.
Okay.
And how far up do they want it closed? Because can people get their packages?
Yes, they would just close it
Right at the.
right the museum. Yeah, yeah.
They wanted it right at the intersection, yeah.
So Rice Street, I guess is that Whitefish?
Whitefish.
So shall we just defer this or,
I think so.
Okay.
We can
Are
read.
you gonna talk to him
yes,
and ask him why Kelly, last year, at first she said she needs it all 3 days and then she came back and said, no, I don't.
okay,
I only need it, what was it, Friday? I can't remember.
okay, well, I'll ask Mike.
There was a reason.
They were closed today. Okay, so is there a motion to defer this until our next meeting?
I'll make a motion. We postpone it, the closure of Colonel Woods to the next meeting.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Action carries. Next is to extend the contract for Dahl Construction's use of the Ice Road parking lot for another month. And that is for, 1 month extension is for $300. They're using just a portion of it right now.
The agreement with all construction for another month for $300.
A second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a request approval for credit card for Ray Heckler, the facilities manager. And this is in light of Ben's departure, so that there's somebody there that has the ability to have a credit card.
Make a motion to approve the request for a credit card for facilities manager Ray Hackla at the same limit as Ben's, which is 5,000.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we had a request from the sanitary district to consider sharing the cost of an engineering study on relocating the RV dump station. And I think everybody's familiar with the issue there, and the town's interest in relocating it, and the sanitary district's interest, and frankly, the parks, state parks interest in that. Paul, can I ask, what is your timing on needing to get an answer on that?
Better. There's 4 questions in the last paragraph. If you answer those 4, send us a response and we ban it.
I think as far as the amount that we might be able to do, I think we certainly want it done. So to answer that question, and I think that the amount to me is going to some degree depend upon our budget situation. But I'm willing to entertain any other thoughts.
I just assume the better.
We have quotes on engineering studies. How much?
There was,
I read the letter, it's 50 and 90 grand. But I mean, the thing is I know Kuchka filed an intent to apply with a clean water fund worth, I don't know what it was, 300, 400,000, just a shot in the dark. I mean, are you still, is the town, again, one of my questions, is the town gonna pursue this? Do you want us to do it? If we're gonna do it, we're gonna need something to pay back, because as I said, I don't want to see the taxpayers pay for the disposal of RV waste when the vast majority of RVers coming over here don't own property taxes.
yeah, and I'd just say, Paul, that I don't think the town board is keen on having the property taxpayers pay for it either.
Here.
So, but we're going to, as you say, we're going to need to make an investment in this, and hopefully we do recoup the costs through charges in the future on the use of that RV dump station. Does anybody want to take action today, or should we defer this until our September 27th meeting?
When you say take action, you just mean that we go in at the sanitary department?
So I guess what they're,
I don't have the
Yeah,
letter. I don't
yeah,
have it
no.
in front of me.
okay, it would be I'm guessing the idea would probably be some sort of cost sharing, perhaps 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I don't know. I think that, we also have to look at where the revenue is going to go on that. So maybe we should put this on the next agenda and have a little bit more discussion
Yeah.
with the sanitary.
And let's find out what happened with that grant. I mean, did that just stop when Michael left,
Okay.
or who knows? Maybe,
Talk to Lauren.
is there a letter somewhere that we didn't get it, or we're gonna get it, or gonna get 20?
Water fund loan. And when you say a third, after talking with DNR officials from the Parks Department, you're not gonna get anybody from them for at least 2 years of their budget cycle, and even then, as I mentioned in the letter, if they don't own it, they're not keen on just giving you money so that their campers can use it, they gotta own the thing, or have some sort of interest in the project. If you wanna give money to the town, since it's gonna be on town land, and that's not gonna fly with the DNR, so it's not gonna be a third, they want it to be a half and a half, which is basically the same people, everyone in this.
Right, got it. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so why don't we defer this until the next meeting, and in the meantime, we'll find out where that loan for the Clean Water Fund stands, and
I'll make a motion that we postpone this until the next regular town board meeting.
okay,
Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, discussion of the RFP for the community center feasibility study.
That is just, that's large.
Oh, okay, thank you. And Lauren is on Zoom if anyone has any questions for her on this. Anybody?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, Mike.
Lauren, can you hear me?
She's on mute right now.
Can she hear
I
us?
think she's on.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little jumbly on the phone, but yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so if I'm reading your emails right, and you got two companies, the Madeline Island Library Board got two companies to respond, and you've got $8,000 to spend, and one is at 36,000 feasibility study, and the other one's at 40.
Mhm.
Excuse me, that's correct. The 36,000 is all inclusive of travel costs, and the 40,000 is not. Yeah, that is correct.
And so the library has $8,000.
That's
Right.
correct. And we haven't determined yet if we would contribute anything else from our designated funds. That was just the initial, the grant dollars that were already allocated for that. And so the discussion at the library board meeting was we tabled it to just inquire both with town board, and then I wasn't sure what the progress or the scope of the collaborative was. So we just wanted the board was interested in seeing if any other entities, wanted to contribute or contribute in the future, maybe once some of the collaborative is more established, or even if town board wanted to contribute in any kind of way, just so we can, I guess, figure out our financial plan for this. And it sounds like Baker Street is willing to sort of figure out maybe a payment plan of sorts, so they could essentially rewrite what their proposal is to accommodate where we're at financially, and sort of a timeline in that manner.
So the project would be kind of in budgetary phases then, we'd be like, first phase is with what you have available. Right.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I have a meeting with Jim Radford from Baker Street later this week. So I was going to inquire more about like what that landscape would look like, but that was my impression from his email.
I think since this is, a lot of information, she has a meeting getting more information, that this one also should be. So I make a motion that we look at this as a first reading and have it on our next town board meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Well, what was she looking for? What were you looking for us? From us? Just a general
Well, essentially, I
consensus?
just wanted to, I just wanted to get it in front of you, essentially because, we did have sort of the backing of the town board to go ahead and publish that RFP, just to be aware of the submissions that came in. And you know, in order to accomplish sort of the scope of what we're trying to accomplish, it will require more money. So I guess just bringing it to the forefront and then having it on radar, since we are kind of walking into budget season, and knowing that the collaborative has sort of just started with some of their initial meetings, that, you know, this is obviously like would be a good first opportunity to figure out how to pull together resources from different groups in the community.
And Lauren, you said that you have a meeting where you're going to get more information later this week.
Yeah, so from Baker Street, the proposal that is the $36,000. They have worked in phases like this before, and he mentioned that. So I wanted to get more information from him, like what that would actually look like and how we could break that process down if we didn't have all the money allocated right away.
Thank you.
I kind of
And I
wonder if,
can, you know, I can also like forward that, you know, after I have that conversation with him.
you know, I think that given the school situation and there, I think that is still pretty dynamic, Lauren, isn't that what the school district is going to be doing with that building?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and maybe if you talk to the person from Baker Street, you can, you know, inquire to them whether or not it might make sense for us to hold off on doing anything until we have more clarity from the school about what they're going to be doing.
Sure. And he was really in the loop on that. And one of, at least from Baker Street and actually from EQT as well, the other submission, in both my conversations with them, they were also reiterating that it might be good to have an independent study that doesn't completely rely on the direction that, like, include that avenue of what the school is doing, but to also have a data set that does not include that plan or potential plan. So I don't think that anything that they would produce would be, you know, lost if we went ahead before the school decided on referendum. If anything, I think it could help formulate a better plan for what that could look like. But again, it's pretty much is going to come down to like either grant dollars have to be allocated or, you know, a financial map will have to get figured out to move forward with either. So.
Thank you, Lauren. There's a motion.
Yeah, no problem.
There's a motion on the table to treat this as a first reading and to have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, but Lauren, you still there?
Yeah. Yep, I'm still here.
When you have, you're going to talk to Baker Street again, and will you have more information for us before our next meeting?
Yeah, I will definitely have more information. My next meeting is next Tuesday, so the goal is to have you know, kind of a picture for that, and I'll forward everything that I have to you.
Okay, the sooner the better.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item on the agenda are these closed session topics. And we can either go into closed session now, and when we come out, we'll do the vouchers and the minutes and the emergency services public comment, or we can move everything. We can move those three items to the end and do those other things first. What is the pleasure?
I'd like to get the vouchers and the minutes out of the way, and then I'd like to talk to Ben before he has to, I don't know if he has to catch a boat or what.
Yeah.
I want to get Ben out of the way.
Okay, so how about we do it right after the vouchers?
Okay.
Okay. So is there a motion to move items 5, H, I, and J to immediately following the voucher approval.
I'll make a motion that we move H, I, and J to right after the vouchers.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is vouchers then.
I will make a motion to approve the vouchers for the town of La Pointe in the amount of $51,425.75.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Harbor Commission.
I will make a motion to approve voucher from the Harbor Commission for the designated funds in the amount of $580.55.
There a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is Mifflin Utility Account.
I will make a motion to approve the vouchers from the Mifflin utility account in the amount of $200,001 in $359.47.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we will go into closed session for the purposes of considering employment, promotion, compensation,